Every now and again in the carp world you hear about something that's likely to set the world alight. We've heard an awful lot about this company called Avid, but we haven't yet seen any products. Until now, that is. I've been lucky enough to be invited out to Abbey Lakes in France to see exactly what they've got to offer. Now before you switch off, don't worry, this isn't an out-and-out sell DVD. It's packed full of tips and tactics from experts, and on that subject there's a fish over there, so let's go and have a look.
Nice 34 pounder, substantially smaller than finches.
And it is absolutely gigantic. 58 pound, 4 ounces, chestnut mirror, awesome.
I don't want to unnerve you, but this is probably the great big one.
It probably is. Come on.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're in. Yeah, nice one.
The tension is mounting. Good fish, though. Yeah, it's a good fish, mate.
It was a bit. £39 common. Fantastic, eh? Well, there she is. A PB common for me at £39. I've had a few of these commons. I've lasted 24 hours. Up to £27 now, but this PB, like I said, got weeded out. A few of us got involved trying to get the thing out, but we managed to get it, and here she is. An Abbey Lakes magnificent golden common.
Shoulders. How are you feeling, Nige? Just tell us.
Yeah.
No! Oh my God!
Blimey. We better get the mat and everything sorted, haven't we? Look after it.
Has it? Has it? Yes!
I've just seen probably the biggest fish that I'll ever see in my life. A fish that I've been coming here for nearly 5 years and I've always wanted to see. And I've only just mentioned it a minute ago and now it's in the net. Unbelievable.
Jesus.
Shoulders is actually the biggest fish in Heron. I think the late record is £75. It may be spawned out, but it's still close to £70. It's absolutely massive fish.
So if you saw that nut out like that, John, you'd think, oh, 20. They're there. And then you saw, oh my God, look at that. 15, 16, 17 pound fish.
Should we take it out of it?
£70, 5 ounces, 4 ounces, 14 ounces. Hang on, just a bit of shakiness.
It's going to break.
I don't know whose bar it is.
It's going to break.
What's the break?
What's the bar?
It's not.
It's going to go.
Oh, let us go.
That'll do. Is it £70?
£70 5.
£70.
£70, 4 ounces.
£70 on the bottom.
17 and a quarter. That'll do.
£70, 4 ounces. That's what 70 pounders do to bank sticks.
Yeah, I think tonight, after a couple of glasses, I think then we can talk about how it feels, but not quite at the moment. To be honest, I thought it was a small fish, just kited round. There's a bit of weed out there, there's a few weed towers, and the line was caught on a couple. Just sort of pinged off a few, and I sort of picked up with it. Felt the weight of the fish, but still didn't believe, you know, wildest dreams that it could be anything that sort of size. And then it just sort of waddled around a bit, really, you know, used its weight, tried to put me in the weed a few times.
£70.
I still wasn't convinced it was that big, and then John sort of turns around and shaped its shoulders, which, yeah, I've seen it on the website, but you're not quite, I don't think anyone could ever sort of tell you what to be ready for when you see something like that on the mat, or, you know, when you look down in the net and it's just sort of there. Yeah, impressive, absolutely mind-blowing.
Over there, that's what I want.
First trip to France, Abbey Lakes. I guess I can see why everyone raves on about the place so much now, you know, why not? Nowhere else better to go, is there, really?
Avid!
Oh, no.
Well, you've just seen the footage of the big girl, 70 pounds, not really sunk in yet. Blown away by it, absolutely fantastic result. So it's just about time to show you the rig that we caught her on. We've actually saved it. Ian Russell unhooked the fish for me, which was good of him. And we've actually got the rig here. I've had to put some little bits of putty back on it because it's not quite right. Obviously, you can imagine a fight with a 70 pounder. Standard monofilament all the way in, no leader, little small piece of tubing, just going into the tail rubber, helps stop the nylon cutting the tail rubber. I've got an Avid inline groove lead. You can use these over the top as a drop off, but today I've used it through the middle as a standard inline. Onto the hook link, it's just a standard braid. You can see the putty that I've just replaced, tidied the rig back up, just to help it sink. And then onto the hook. It's a blowback rig. I don't tie it with a knotless knot or use any tubing. It's important to use something like a grinner knot so that it's the actual off the hook. It's the right side of the hook. It gives the small ring, the blowback ring, the full travel of the shank of the hook, which is very important for hooking and also anti-eject purposes. So from there we've got a small dumbbell hooker, and that little beauty on the end is the sight stop. It just gives that bit of visual, as we all use these days. The colour's so needed to bring in the fish onto your patch of bait, not only to get them actually feeding, but so they can target the hook bait. It brings them right in onto it. Absolutely superb.
Well, we're going to take a little bit of time out from the hectic fish catching action to have a word with the old horse's mouth about Avid. This is John Shoes Jones. He's the bloke that's in charge of product development over there. Shoesy, you've got some exciting things on the pipeline.
Yeah, we have. We've got some really nice, interesting products, which you've seen a few of them this session. Yeah, they're really good. You know, we're bringing out a few bits and pieces will make life a lot easier for anglers, and of course, hopefully, catch them a lot more fish. I mean, it's proving that they're working. You know, yeah, I'm really excited with the products. I'm really proud of the products and the guys involved in it.
Great team of thinking anglers around you as well. They cover all disciplines in the sport, from going out and catching the big tough fish in the UK, coming out on the continent catching biggies out here, and also getting at the forefront of what everybody wants, which is bites.
Yeah, they are a good bunch of lads. They all get on well, which is great. They all take criticism and give criticism, which is even better. And they're all thinking, you know, so it's very, very interesting and very, very good.
Right, it's time we showed you the magic boat mix, what we're using to catch these fish, okay? We've had quite a few now. Now it's time to show you, to share it with you. Initially, that's hemp and black tigers. We do lots of different ones, hemp and corn, hemp and maize. Irrelevant really, it's the hemp I like to have in it. No fish, no carp, refuges hemp. So a tin of that in, a nice kilo tin of that in initially. On top of that, we go for some super carp method mix. The reason for using this is A, the attraction anyway, but B, it really stodges it up. It makes that you can ball the bait up. We're fishing, where we're fishing is 14 foot deep. So if we put all this light stuff just in the boat without some stodge to take it down fast, believe it or not, it will drift off. 14 foot's quite a way for these tiny little bits to fall down through. A nice stodgy mix allows you to put it in the boat in bundles, and that'll hit the bottom quite quick. And there we go, we've got another carp. Sorry. That was timely, wasn't it? So we've got one rod in the water and it's belted off. Awesome, this is the third take in probably 45 minutes now. We keep trying to do this bait thing and the carp keep disturbing. Isn't that a nice problem to have? This is a 60 pounder and it's down to 26.5. Woo! Just got the figures around the wrong way. It's not 62, it's 26. Oh, it's a nice linear, mate. Scaly one. A scaly one. It's a nice fish, isn't it? I think it's a 30 pounder. That is beautiful. Oh, mate, yeah. That's a good 30, John, isn't it? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, more importantly, he's got one of your stops on, John. Now look how confident that fish was feeding. That's a good 3 inches, John, isn't it? Yeah. Inside the mouth. That is when you're getting it right. Right, here we go. Nice little product to show you. Corn stops. If I go through the workings of them. Basically, it's a little piece of imitation corn with a stem on the end of it with a hook. Whichever one you use, one's long, one's short, dictated by the size of the bait you want to use. Now to put them on, bait on the hair, corn stop obviously goes on the hair after the bait. If I can just widen it a little bit. There you go, over the loop, that's on there, pull it up. Now there's nothing there. It's a lovely sight bob. Everything's hidden within your bait, whether it's a boilie or a tiger nut, doesn't matter. Crayfish can't affect that. Small fish can't affect that. Doesn't come much nicer, does it? Corn stops, remember that word, because you're going to hear it a lot. To finish this rig, we're going a nice little bag of boilie crumb. Stops it tangling, lovely little puff of attraction around it as it is the lake bed. And again, look how bright that is. What a lovely little product, safe as ours is, laying on the lake bed waiting for that carp. Get on them. That is without a doubt the best French fish I have caught, mate. 38, 40 minutes then, mate. Matters not, does it? Now this one, that's going to blow your eyes out your head. We've had some lovely dark fish, not many scaly fish, other than the commons obviously, but this is different gravy. Just under 39 pounds of incredible French carp. Now that would look at home in any English lake. That has made my trip anyway. They all have. This in particular is the icing on the cake for me. And the other side, if I show you that next, is even scalier. So we'll spin her around for you. God. Now when you've got lakes in France with fish like that, 2 hours from Calais, you might as well be here, ain't you? That is unbelievable. What an incredible creature that is, isn't it? Now we better get on with our bait section. Well, there you go, that's a nice fish to be disturbed by, isn't it? Double row linear, 38-14, unbelievable. Now our next bit, after the stodgy method mix, is the elliptical pellets. Nice oily pellet. When they're digging around on the bottom, disturbs all the oil that releases from these. Surface goes flat above your area, you know they're eating the food. You're not getting bites, but that's down to you. They've got to go in 2 different sizes, keeps them off guard a little bit. Third pellet, S-pellet feed. Smaller than hemp this, serves the same purpose. As they're eating this and digging around, they're also burying it. So it will keep them coming back for more and more and more. So everything here has got a reason for being in there, okay? Big handful of boilies, that keeps the crayfish happy in this lake. And out it goes. It stodges together in balls like we showed you a little bit earlier. That all goes in the boat. It will sink fast, a nice boat full there. I think we should put that out there now. And I doubt we'll catch a better looking one, but we might just catch a bigger one.
Now, while the boys are away catching loads and loads of fish, I've snuck over to Shoes' Bivvy to have a look at leads. Before we go there, let's just talk about leads and what they're used for. Job 1, get the bait into the pond where you want it to be. Job 2, hook the fish. After that, don't necessarily need them. But there's a lot more to leads than just that, and there's a lot of engineering goes into these little cuties. So let's have a look at one of my particular favourites first. We'll start off with this one. It's called a groove lead. Reason is fairly obvious. There's a groove up the middle. It's an inline shape, and you can fish it standard inline with your line, your lead core, your tubing through the middle, or alternatively, you can put it outline, and that groove there allows whatever material you're using, to sit in it nice and neatly. The way these things work is obviously pop them on. As soon as pressure is applied, the lead will pop out of the one end. It's attached then just with the rubber at the other. That will fall off, and you've got a nice, easy system to get the fish up in the water once it's discharged the lead. This one, similar system, but you'll notice that the groove goes all the way through. Now this has two advantages. Firstly, the whole inline system acts like a quick release bead. They've been engineered so the amount of tension that pulls on the one end is equivalent to the tail rubber popping off at the other. So depending on how tight you want it, you can push your tail rubber on a long way or just a short way, and it will fall off either as quickly or as late as you want it to. You'll notice on the tail rubber itself there's a groove, and that is for tying it up with a bit of PVA tape just for the cast, so you can make sure that it's dead secure for the cast, but once it's in the water that slackens off and that thing will pop off nice and easy. In addition to that, of course, save snipping your line when you want to change your lead. Pop that out, slide it off the line, you can stick another one and set the thing back up again. So very, very easy to use. And now I'll come on to one of Finchy's favourites. He's a bit of a master with the old PVA bag, and this is a specially designed bag lead. Now there's boatloads of engineering went into this one. It isn't just a normal lead. For a start, you'll see the profile is very low and very flat. A lot of the time when you fish in a bag, your bait is going to end up quite close to the lead. If your hook link is short like that, it's going to be there. Even if you've got a longer hook link, gravity says that the bait is going to fall by the side of the lead, so the profile of this keeps it nice and low. It grips the bottom an awful lot for a flat lead as well, because it isn't actually flat. There's a bit of a concave dip on either side, and that means that it grips the bottom and won't move around that much. Colour-wise, real nice little colour, and the coating is quite grippy as well, so you don't get any slippage along the bottom. Works as an inline lead, and you may have noticed when I'm turning it over that there's a hole in the side. That is an absolutely fantastic little piece of information. Very, very simple, very easy. Get yourself a nugget of foam, twist the end of it, pop it in there. If you're then putting this into a bag with a load of soft bits in it, your hook point might catch up, and obviously if it tucks into a boilie or something, you're not going to be able to get a hook up on the fish. Put that foam on, pop the hook point on there, and that ensures that your hook point is nice and clean. Additionally, you can do that, chop it down a little bit for flight, but if you cast out with one of those in there and don't use it as a bag lead, that will prevent tangles. It's a brilliant innovation for getting around tangles. Let's move on now to the swivel leads. This is the dumpy swivel lead, virtually the same shape as the inline. It's got that concave groove on it, grips the bottom very nicely, and for a swivel lead, you do pick up the whole weight of the lead very, very quickly with it. You'll notice the swivel is coated in the same sort of coating as well. It's very matte, doesn't shine at all, and does look great underwater. And then if distance is your thing, we'll go on to the final one, which is, on first examination, a fairly straightforward, simple swivel distance lead. But this is the key on it. It's been made so it's slightly elliptical, a bit like a plane wing in flight. So it flies very straight, very true, but the practicalities from a fishing side of things is when it's lying on the bottom, it doesn't roll around as much because the profile isn't round. It's got that flat bit on, so it grips a bit more. Let's have a look at the end of it. It's got a flat bit there. That's come from the sea angling world. What it means is that in flight, that flat spot creates a void of air behind it, so there's not so much turbulence. As a result, the swivel isn't going to bob around so much, and you're going to get less tangles if you're casting long distance with this. So across the whole range, you can see that a lead isn't just a lead. There's a lot of thought goes into it, and they really are actually quite fine pieces of kit.
A little light on there, don't we? Right. This is the hardest fight I've had with the carp this week, mate. Oh, wait. This went absolutely bananas, John. The biggest one yet, mate. 37, 4, whatever. 37 odd, John. Right, lift your foot, left
37 off, hod.
Right, do you remember that boat I sent out earlier for you? This is a result of that. 37 pounds, 4 ounces of absolutely stunning Abbey Lakes mirror carp. That really did fight. I'm so chuffed with that. A big, chunky, immaculate fish. Little balanced tiger. Corn stop on the top of it to stop the crays getting at it. And there's your result. All the hard work pays off. So I think we're slipping back now. Send that boat out again. What do you reckon? In your own time. Another good helping of bait in the boat. As I said earlier, these are big fish, and that's proved it. 37 pound odd fish is a big fish in anybody's eyes. We'll lay the rig in amongst it all. Pull the line tight. Get the clip down, little handful of boilies. And we're ready to go out again. The boat, out she goes. On with the handset. And out we go. Now we've got a fair way to go yet, but it's worth just a little tip. Keep your eye on the spool. We've got our marking up there, visual. When that peels off the spool, we'll know it's time to drop our bait. Back in the area that we've caught now, well, what have we had? I think we've had about 8 fish, 13 bites, 8 fish off that one area. So, and they're getting bigger. And on that note, I'm going to bed. Good night.
Cheers mate, thank you. A 35 mirror sat on the net at the moment. There's fish showing all around the area. And this is a rig that I would use in the bag. Short, tiny little braid rig on an inline drop-off system, so the leg comes off as soon as we get a bite. You don't need to do this all the time, but on the lake like this where it's so weedy, I love to get rid of the lead because you're in control of the fish straight away as soon as it's hooked. That's all you need to do. Well, here we have a stunning 35 pound mirror, caught this morning. It's slightly spawned out, probably a 40 pounder I expect at full weight. This was caught on a PVA bag, my usual tactics. Using the loader again, so I'm quick and efficient. Absolute beast. And reasonably well behaved. Stunning.
Now that was a cracking carp, and Finchy is known as a bit of a maestro when it comes to PVA bags. I think the first thing we need to do is congratulate the man
Cheers, Rob.
himself.
Thank
What
you.
a stunning capture, and on that subject, what a stunning PVA bag. Just talk us through that.
Well, that's something I've been doing for quite a while, PVA bagging. Use it for 90% of my fishing. The difficulty is with tying up bags like that and trying to get them tight like that is to hold the bag and put your lead and your rig in there and fill it all at the same time. Until now, that is. At Avid, we've developed a new bag loader, so this takes all the hassle out of tying up a PVA bag.
You've got 2 different sizes in there as well.
Yeah, they come in 2 sizes and they come complete in a kit, so you'll get the loader, PVA bags and some PVA tape.
Right, let's have a look how it works.
So basically the loader, you squeeze it into the bag,
Yep.
and then it opens out, so then it's grip the bag.
No fiddly fingers or anything like that then, straight in there,
That's
nice and
it.
easy.
These are the sort of rigs that I would use in a bag. Very tiny little braid rig, little barrel bait with a sight stop on the end, and then a flat profile bag lead. And simply with the loader, drop your hook bait in, that goes into the bottom of the bag. And then we've come up with a neat little design on the loader. This little slit at the back, where you slot your line or your leg core into there. So now that's being gripped. So you've got one hand spare. You can either scoop now the pellet in or load it with your hand. Until you get the pellet sort of 3/4 full, and simply take that out, drop your lead in. And now what I do is I will grab the bag and pull the loader out. And then you can open it out, that comes off your main line. Once I've got the bag in my hands, just push the lead in a little bit more, so it's sitting on top of the pellet. Spin it round, so it's nice and tight. Tie it off with a bit of PVA tape, and that's it.
Well, just watched John have that fish. We're all a little tired. I'd one in the night myself, 32 common, which would have